everybody, and welcome to Neurotic News again. We are back, and boy, oh boy, we've got some exciting things on the horizon. We have Neurotic News merch for sale. Dan Rath is wearing one of the shirts right now. There are other shirts that are going to be coming out, so they're a limited release. We're going to see how they go, and a lot of comics have already bought them, so hopefully that may be up your alley. Dan Rath and I know Dan is definitely going to be in Edinburgh. I'm going to be in Brisbane doing the Brisbane Comedy Festival, May 16th to 19th. I'm in a tent performing.
I've seen that tent.
It's called the Pleasure Dome.
The gazebo.
The gazebo. Dude, I'm playing the gazebo.
You're in the alfresco gazebo.
It's crazy that they call it the Pleasure Dome. I just think it's always funny how fringe festivals are like the garden of pleasantly desires where you may fulfill your wild. It's
it
all
freaks
like
me out.
satanic kind of shit.
Like some Edenic garden, like Eve's going to eat the apple. And
Yeah.
you'll have a giggle.
Yeah, as opposed to seeing a carny take a diarrhea shit between two tents while he eats a Dagwood dog.
Yeah. That's what I really feel.
What do Americans call it? A corn dog. Then they call it a corn dog.
You have a corn dog and you'll just see spew on a Ferris wheel, like just edging down like a vine. It's disgusting.
Oh my God.
I'm supposed to have a laugh.
You expect me to have a laugh in this environment? It's unbelievable.
But that one you're in, that's a good one.
The Pleasure Dome?
Well, it's a good I like it, the look of it.
Well, the thing is that Brisbane Comedy Festival is a very high class festival. It's curated. There's not many acts in it, and the venues you do play are good.
There's no carnies allowed.
Yeah, there's no riff-raff.
That's the weird world you live in. The most accessible festival is in the most like prestigious city,
right?
And then the one that's the most curated is in the most maligned city.
Do
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see
like
what
the
you
paradox.
mean. Yeah, there is somewhat of a paradox there. Did we say yes that we'll be in Edinburgh?
Yeah,
yes, you're definitely in Edinburgh. I'm looking like I'm going to do Edinburgh for the first time in many years. Hopefully that won't result in a mental breakdown.
It's good to test your mental health.
Yeah.
Do a test.
Oh, man.
You know that thing, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger?
Right.
I find it makes you considerably weaker for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that is true. Hey, there are things that don't kill you, but they slow you down.
Like long COVID.
Yeah.
And no one believes it's real.
Yeah.
So you're weaker and no one believes you.
It's like I got long COVID. I know it.
It's like we don't believe it's real, and you're like, but I feel weaker. And they can't measure it.
I wonder how many people just coincidentally feel weaker, but it's not to do with COVID.
That's where I'm at, I reckon.
Do you feel weaker?
Yeah.
Just in general?
I can't work out if it's the tick that bit me.
You think you have Lyme's disease?
Well, I got bitten by a tick, and they are carriers of many zoonotic diseases.
Are they?
That not just Lyme's, but other shit that'll fuck your shit up for life.
Really?
Awful shit.
I don't reckon you've got Lyme's disease, man. Why don't you just find out?
I got the tick that bit me, and I put it in an Amazon lockbox, and took it to the GP.
Okay, wait a minute. An Amazon lockbox meaning?
You know those like boxes? They're like you can keep your phone in so you don't use it.
Is that what it's actually designed for?
I don't know if it's designed for that, but that's what I used it for. You can time it.
What do people use something like that for? For like treats?
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, okay, I see.
Basically Amazon has got this thing.
So just to recap for the audience, you got bitten by a tick.
Yeah.
You killed the tick and then put it in an Amazon lockbox.
I didn't kill it. I didn't kill the tick. Basically I thought that I had a wound that had congealed.
Mm-hmm.
You know when you see like I thought that the tick was the wound.
Right.
But then I noticed when I picked the wound up,
it's a tick.
It started moving.
Wow.
It was like some Stephen King, David Lynch shit.
Yeah.
And so then I put it in an Amazon lockbox.
So just why the lockbox?
Because I wanted to just have it in a thing that I could take to a doctor in. Okay. Like a carrier.
So you came into the doctor's with a lockbox with a tick in it.
Yeah. And then I said, I want you to do a biopsy on this tick.
And what did the doctor say to that?
He said, you're a psycho for killing it this way. because it's suffocated in the box.
He cared for the tick.
That's what pissed me off, that he took the tick side over me. Like, he was literally like, that's a crazy thing to do, to keep it in this box and it's dead.
I'm kind of surprised that he was so sympathetic towards the tick.
Yeah.
And not your obvious mental state of the fact that you bought it in.
Yeah.
He wasn't sympathetic to your bizarre mental state.
I think if you're looking at something that causes Lyme's disease in humans, it has no sympathy. You can't have sympathy for that.
I agree. It's strange that he was like, oh, what about the poor tick suffocating in there? It's a fucking tick.
And then I wanted him to do a biopsy on it, and he said that they can't because they don't believe Lyme's disease is real in Australia, or it hasn't come here yet.
Oh.
So there's like contention as to whether it's possible to get it here.
So can you even test for it in Australia?
I don't know. I don't think it's easy to test for.
Right.
But you know how doctors just kind of want to move on a bit?
You think they just want to keep the appointment rolling?
I feel like when you're getting bulk billed, they're not going to do an autopsy on a tick. Like, it's not going to be in their interest.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're trying to get you out. They're like, it's not a melanoma. It's a fucking mosquito bite. Get it out.
Yeah.
They're like that.
Fucking hell, we've got to get through. Yeah. You're not dying. The blood coming out of your mouth is perfectly normal. You've probably got bad gums.
Yeah. Go to a dentist, idiot. They are trying to.
Right.
It's a bit like McDonald's, drive through.
I like how you bought a tick in a lockbox to them. They went, you're fucking psycho. And you're like, yeah, doctors aren't what they used to be. They won't even do a biopsy of a tick, which I don't think anyone ever did.
Yeah. They won't even do an autopsy of a tick anymore that you brought in.
Political correctness gone mad. They won't even do an autopsy probably because of gender issues.
Oh, I reckon if you were a millionaire going to a proper high-level doctor, they'd do the autopsy.
Yeah, they do it just to keep you as a client. Of course, Mr. Robinson will do an autopsy of the tick immediately. Have a look at what it ate and, you know.
It's riddled with limes, my liege. Yeah.
Fuck, that's so nuts.
Yeah. But Edinburgh is like having Lyme's disease anyway.
Right. Yeah. It's a tough call. It can really burn you out doing a month of gigs straight with no break, living in Scotland with no discernible food as such, eating just whatever that great. Just
you go to the organic shop, they've sold out of vegetables. It's crazy.
Is there an organic shop in Edinburgh?
There was, but they had no vegetables. It was crazy. They just have like grains and stuff.
Right. Do they have berry, like frozen berries?
No.
What?
It's just, so I just was like, okay, I'm just going to give up.
Fucking hell. I wonder what Glasgow's right. Is Glasgow bigger than Edinburgh?
I don't know. I've never been there.
Some people train in from Glasgow to Edinburgh to do the festival.
Jesus Christ.
I've never heard anything good about Glasgow. It's the punchline of so many jokes.
I think it's more castles and stuff.
Oh, everywhere's castles in Scotland, though. They love them.
Yeah.
They love a wee castle. When you look at those castles, man, they don't look fucking easy to build either. You know?
No, I used to be into all that castle shit, and now I'm over it.
Well, you look Scottish.
Yeah.
I mean, you're very thin, but like the red hair and all.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably my natural habitat, but I don't like it.
But when you first started going over there, you enjoyed the castles?
I think it's, you know, you like Harry Potter and all that stuff.
Mm.
You know, when you're into that.
Mm-hmm.
Orcs and stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, fuck.
It's funny how I feel like ghosts are autistic.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a non sequitur. I just mean, like, you know, they say that they're all haunted.
Yeah.
Just like, it's like we view ghosts as this enemy, like malicious. But how do you know they're just not, you know, autistic people? Because like autistic people stuck in another dimension, or I don't know, whatever that is. Because think about it, they're people that don't get the social cue. They're dead to move on. Very autistic, and they always hang around buildings, trains, bridges, infrastructure.
Yeah.
Old boats. They love that shit.
So they misread the social cues of the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, whatever that thing is,
that
where
process.
they're meant to move on. And so they're hanging around a hallway awkwardly. And we're like, oh my God, it's a ghost. Where they're just like, hello. It's like they're just hanging in the hallway or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is what's happening with them.
Right. Well, that response was quite autistic.
Yeah.
So we know your certifications on the topic.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I'm asking you from your perspective.
Yeah. No, I think that I'd prefer to haunt.
Like if you died, would you haunt? I guess.
Yeah. I would. I'd haunt like a building or a shipping container. Maybe.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be haunting, would it? Like it's the wrong word.
Hang out.
You'd be hanging around there.
Yeah.
Because you like the infrastructure or the castle or the bridge or
Bridges
whatever.
And
that's the misconception I'm trying to clear up.
Yeah. In a tunnel, maybe.
Yeah, because you're meant to move on, but you haven't gotten it yet, so you're in a tunnel.
Near a train tunnel, yeah. Near some graffiti.
Yeah, some cool graffiti.
Just hanging out.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I often think my life is too shit to be haunted. Like my life is so disheveled and
so you think being haunted is like a sign of privilege? Because it always seems to be quite wealthy people doing well in like well-to-do manors and mansions and.
Yeah, I've noticed
poor people don't get.
They don't get haunted, even with Halloween.
Mm.
You go to like some real rundown area and it's like it's Halloween every day. You know.
Right.
They don't need to cosplay.
Right, they don't need to dress up.
I saw a skeletal hand coming out of a backyard and I was like, you'd actually need to check if it was Halloween.
Right.
Because it could just be a coincidence.
It could just be an actual skeleton.
That's been there all year and you just see it on Halloween and go, oh.
What a coincidence. I noticed it on Halloween because I was looking for that kind of thing.
That's because ghosts will haunt a basic bitch. Someone with like a planner of what they're going to do. Okay. Ghosts love that.
Right.
Oh, you've got a baby shower. We'll see about that.
Right.
You're going to plan your wedding. I'll fuck that up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
A ghost fucks my shit up. I'm not even going to notice.
Right. So if the television starts floating, you're like, this is my fault because you got such low self-esteem.
Well, I would, if I noticed it, I mean, I could be too busy ruminating about a barista who betrayed me or disrespected my coffee order.
Right.
And the couch is floating. I'm like, whatever, you know?
It's the least of your worries.
It's the least on Maslow's hierarchy of fears.
Mm.
The floating settee kind of ranks below the ongoing, you know?
Right. So what you're saying is that people like you don't get haunted much because you're too mentally ill already to notice or for it to make any difference.
Yeah, I think ghosts get value for money.
Right.
Then if we fuck with him, he'll just think it's a psychotic breakdown, which I will. I would just assume if my place got haunted, I would assume it was just a psychotic breakdown that I had coming.
Right. I guess it comes back to the fact that you would think it's just you having a break, like your mental state.
Yeah. I'd attribute it to my mental state.
Whereas someone with pristine wellness who's got a lot of money is going to notice.
Yeah.
Well, you're not.
I'm not going to notice.
You didn't sleep well the night before, you're ruminating, you're paranoid, you've got no money, then the TV moves, you're like, yeah, this is the least of my worries.
I ate dishwasher tablets. This is probably the long-term effect of that coming to fruition, like an acid flashback from when you were 10. You know what I mean? You eat that tricolor dishwasher tablet when you're 10.
It looks tempting, I'm not going to lie.
But then 30 years later, who knows? The ghost could be the acid flashback of a dishwashing tablet.
Did you eat a dishwashing tablet?
I did, yeah. But I'm just saying, who knows what the long-term effects of that.
Right. So
it doesn't have on the back, like, if swallow, drink glass of milk, it could be like also cool Ghostbusters, you know, in 30 years.
You might, yeah. I mean, I must admit, the dishwashing tablets do look tempting. Like, they look like a great lolly.
Yeah.
Because there was a fad where people were taking it on TikTok or something. They were being dared to swallow them, weren't they?
Well, yeah.
Is that a TikTok
My
fad?
friend did an ad for dishwashing tablets.
Yeah?
And he said the actors in the ad made shortbread in the form of dishwashing tablets.
Why?
I don't know. I guess to garner...
Boost morale,
but also probably to get booked for another ad.
Yeah, they're like, I did the ad and I made everyone feel good because I made dishwashing.
As if that matters. You know what I mean? It's not like the people doing the Hyundai hatchback ad are like, who should we get? Oh, the guys from the dishwashing tablet ad made shortbread in the form of the product.
How beautiful. How nice of them.
Let's get them in. I don't think it would affect.
No, it's all to do with money.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll get the cheapest thing in. Yeah.
They're not thinking about
also, like, you don't want to win
snacks.
over fucking advertising agencies. They're the worst people.
These people do.
Scum. I mean, not scum, but just a mistake. We're talking about ticks.
Yeah.
My algorithm is filled with animal chiropractors. Like there's a dude who does dog chiropractor. It's massive because you see him grab a dog and he's like, the dog's all confused and he's like,
yeah,
cracks its back and shit, which is genius really by a chiropractor because it's such a dubious field that he's somehow managed to find something that he can work on that can't file a lawsuit. Like a parrot can't file a lawsuit.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? He's found a loophole in the chiropractor problem.
There's
no
lawsuits. Ferret class action.
Right.
For cracked backs.
Right. Oh, he put my back out. I'm a golden retriever. I'd like to take him to court. So, I've seen him. I'm not joking. I saw him crack the back of a python.
Yeah. And that.
How the fuck can you know that that's doing anything? You're cracking the back of a python.
So he's kind of like a Steve Irwin back cracker.
He is.
Crack a crocodile's back.
You're doing all of them.
That's incredible.
He gets cats and everything and just like...
Because don't chiropractors get sued the most?
I would say so. It's a very dubious field with, like pretty crazy techniques and...
certifications.
I mean, physios are a bit more like provable that they do something.
Yeah, you look at a chiropractor, they'll have like a certificate from the NIMBN RSL. It's not... When you go to a doctor, they've got all the doctory stuff, like official universities.
It's just one, generally.
Yeah.
One certificate.
Oh, you're saying they've got so many.
Oh, man. You look behind the wall of a chiropractor, it's like a fucking...
collage.
Collage of certificates. And it's almost the point, it's like, what are you trying to prove?
Yeah, I see. They're trying to almost bamboozle you with certification.
I always thought that, like, as far as psychology goes and stuff, like Jordan Peterson, it sounds like the official psychologist of a draconian state.
Yeah.
They always have an official...
state-sponsored
Yeah.
Psychological...
Just the tone of his voice sounds very like, you need to make sure you take your family to the gulag.
Yeah.
Like that kind of aggressive, passive, like...
Every day, thank your supreme leader in your gratitude diary and clean your room.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the clean your room thing that makes it sound like...
Yeah, I can also imagine him instituting a national hour of crying. We cry for an hour every week for the leader. Like weeping.
Yeah, you see his big face on a giant video screen in the totalitarian state.
Yeah, and he weeps so that you don't have to or something.
I'm weeping for an hour for the state. I'm doing my part.
It's vulnerability. It's state-mandated vulnerability of the man.
State-mandated vulnerability.
Something weird like that.
What a horrifying term.
He does remind me, and he lives in a palace and stuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it's just like he's surrounded by paramilitary groups that protect him.
Yeah, in the movie or whatever, where the guy's trying to infiltrate it or have an uprising.
Don't try and come to my house. I have paramilitary groups protecting the gate. It's just a reminder to the populace, the denizens of the dystopia. Like
just
he reminds
in case
you.
you're a member of the totalitarian proletariat, then you're thinking of uprising. I have paramilitary groups surrounding my house.
Yeah.
Seriously fortified.
Just clean your room and move on. Cleaning your room is also very like fascist, like make it ordered, but also just clean it.
Yeah, I'm sure Hitler cleaned his room, I think.
Yeah.
Probably Stalin as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
It'd be fascinating to understand the true ins and outs of every major dictator. Like the real psychopaths,
Pol Pot,
Stalin, Hitler.
A lot of them were poets and stuff, I think.
Yeah? Like artists?
Yeah. I think they have the imagination or whatever to do that stuff.
You know what I found really interesting? Dwarf planets?
Yeah.
They're no longer classified as planets, which I think is offensive.
Yeah. I can imagine like dwarves protesting that.
Yeah.
At the Hubble telescope.
What, just because we're small?
Yeah, we're not.
They're going to cut our planets off now?
It's very rude to call the planets dwarves and then now go, they're not even planets.
Yeah, that is offensive, isn't it?
I read that as well. Like dwarf planets are not planets anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big bunch of dwarves at the Hubble telescope.
Just it's
what happened to our planets?
I'm surprised there aren't more protests to do with space.
Yeah? Like what, weapons in space and shit? That's what they're trying to do, isn't it?
Well, just like even just the terminology of space like that.
Right.
That seems to me like...
You think it's an offensive term?
Yeah. but you're allowed to use it.
Right.
Like they use dwarf heaps in space, like a dwarf black hole. And
they're obsessed with
red
dwarves.
dwarf.
Yeah. They're obsessed with dwarves in space, hey?
Yeah, it's the one area where you're just allowed to go on and on about them.
Dwarfs, dwarf planet orbiting a dwarf black hole, dwarfing the planet dwarfs its moon with dwarf. It's just like fucking hell.
So there's a dwarf being thrown by a trapeze artist, you know, in some circus tent.
Right.
And they're like, you took my planet away, you dog. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm already being thrown around and shot out of a cannonball.
Right.
Give me the fucking planet, you dog.
Give me the planet back, you dog.
Don't you think?
Sucks.
Give them the planet.
Let them have the planets. You know, it's already tough enough.
Give them, yeah, it's a terminological dispute too. Like just consider it a planet.
Yeah.
What do they call it, a moon now?
I don't know.
The dwarf planets and
what do they call
it?
What's a moon? Is a type of satellite of a planet?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand space.
Yeah.
I've got no interest in it, really. You know, like stoners are always interested in space.
Yeah.
Like physics and stuff.
Yeah. They are, hey.
But then they try and split a bill and they're like, oh, man. You know what I mean? Like maths in 2D, they can't deal with. But when it's 3D, they're like, yeah, I get it. It's like the electrons.
They love to sit down and go, dude, did you know that a black hole, the way it behaves, no light can escape it. It's infinity. We don't really know what happens down there. It's crazy. Then you're like, yeah, man, well, this Uber, like I can add you to the Uber, your destination, dude. I don't even know if I've got that capability.
Man, split it like
splitting the
decimals and
can't even imagine that.
You had the lamb ragu, and it's like I can't really fathom that. Well, no, you ate extra because you had the munchies, so we're gonna have to like you'll have to just take. We can't split it 50-50.
Yeah,
because you got a tiramisu as well.
Yeah, so I don't remember that, but
I can't add that up.
But an atom splits at the edge of a black hole, meaning some of the electrons disappear.
I get it.
I get that.
So they can split the atom, but not the bill.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Jump. They can do the harder stuff, but not the base.
I wonder if Einstein ever did that. It's like, mathematically worked out gravity.
Yeah. What, had a bong hit?
No, not a bong hit, but went like, I'm sure that we can maybe, did I eat the, like, are we going to split it by
I see what you mean. No, I get it because, like, sometimes when maths has dollar signs in front of it, I don't understand it anymore. Right. You know what I mean? Because you get so scared once it matters. You know what I mean? Like, there's pressure. You're like, fuck. Like, it's harder to calculate when there's a gun to your head. It's like, if I miscalculate this, I won't be able to pay rent. Right. So it's harder to... There's more pressure than the stoner math. Yeah. Which is like, did you know Saturn has so many kilometers of ice on its cap? You're going to get evicted, Tony. You know, like just stay focused. But I also find like, because, you know, Rick and Morty, it's so famous now. Like at this point, Rick and Morty's so big, it costs more to get tracksuit pants without a Rick and Morty logo on them. Right. Like I've had that where I'm like, you can get the Rick and Morty one for 10, right? But without the logo, it's 30. Okay. And I'm like, fuck, they're doing well. It's had a real dent in the popular consciousness. It has. I go to H&M. I'm trying to just get some plain tracksuits, and it's more expensive to get the pink ones without the Rick and Morty logo over it. Wow. It's like, this is fucking insane. Wow. There's like energy drinks, Rick and Morty Maxi Bonds, like in terms of the tendrils of its influence. Yeah. But it's this very arcane show about theoretical physics and shit.
It is pretty niche, and like the comedy in it is like crazy.
It's because it's about the multiverse theory, and which is funny because it's more believable to me the parallel universe that exists where Rick and Morty just remained a niche show. That to me is more believable,
right?
Than this world,
right?
We have to pay an extra $10 not to have their logo on some shitty tracksuit.
That's crazy, yeah.
Like I couldn't have predicted that.
Yeah,
that you could have a guy with an energy drink that's got a Rick and Morty logo on it threatening you on a bus.
Yeah, it's so bizarre, isn't it? Because it's such a niche show. I mean, like really.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where niche became massive.
It's the stoner thing, I think, as well.
Yeah, it must appeal to like, it appeals to kids, but it appeals to adults and comedy fans.
Yeah.
Because the comedy in it's pretty funny.
No, that's what I mean. It's like so specific.
It's like the Dan Harmon, the guy who wrote it.
Yeah.
He has a method of making stories, a circular method, and it's the same thing that Bluey uses.
Oh fuck! I was just thinking about Bluey.
Yeah.
The TV show?
Yeah.
About the blue healers?
Yeah.
That's crazy because the blue healers, I read this, a direct descendant of dingoes.
Really?
And I just think it's funny because Bluey is a show about blue healers for babies.
Right.
But the blue healers are the direct descendant of dingoes who ate babies.
Right.
It's just full circle.
That's the craziest line you've drawn there I've ever heard. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the baby's laughing at the blue healer. It's like, his dad ate one of your mates.
I like how you're putting babies together like a race. It's like, the race of babies. Yeah.
Like your race.
One of
his
your race.
Direct descendant. Yeah. It's like a Jew watching a German show.
Right.
But it's like Hitler's son's in it.
Right.
Yeah. Don't laugh too much.
That's very threatening.
Dingoes eat babies for breakfast. Like, I mean, it's
what happened?
famous.
What was that all about?
They eat more babies than Hillary Clinton.
What was that all about? Like, what happened? Someone went to the Northern Territory and a dingo ate her baby?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I think so, yeah.
Because I remember the phrase. It's a common popular culture. Dingo ate my baby. But what actually happened? Do you know?
No. I just know that.
Yeah.
I know it as like a meme.
Me too.
Rather than as like a historical, like Ernie Dingo kind of thing. But yeah.
It's famous,
It's weird you can be broken famous now. Have you noticed that combination?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Like one of the biggest comedians I know who's absolutely insane, who I've worked with a lot.
Yeah.
He's totally broke. And he's doing Airtasker.
Yeah.
Where he takes rubbish out of people's houses. And because he can't afford to go to the dump, he just puts it in his backyards.
Yeah.
So his backyard's filled with trash. But when he gets to the house, they ask for a selfie.
Yeah. That's hypernormalization right there.
Right.
When the guy that's trying to excavate a dead rat from a pipe in your backyard, you recognize him and want a selfie?
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
Totally.
That wasn't happening in the 80s.
Was it you that was saying that there was a plumber that the plumber has an Instagram account or?
Oh, yeah. This guy that fixed one of my pipes, he had he had like 1 million followers.
And he's just Instagramming his plumbing.
He does videos. He's like, fuck, this pipe's full of shit. Fuck, I'm just here right now. Fuck. Yeah, subscribe. And it's like
was he doing it while he was at
your
your
house?
house?
He was filming videos in the bar.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Next thing he'll have like a tripod. A dude will come in with a tripod to film the pipe.
That's fucking nuts.
But yeah, it's like when like a famous comedian is a rat catcher.
Bizarre.
Like he's got a bottle of pesticide.
It's not even an exaggeration. He's literally picking up garbage. Sometimes he does get booked, I think, just to turn up and they give him $50 and it's like, hello. And he's just around the party.
Yeah. So it's that as well.
He does a bit of that too, but he genuinely does pick up rubbish. He mows lawns. He just undercuts everyone and then turns up and it's just him and his station
No pun
wagon.
intended. Yeah. But yeah, like I see what you mean. Like it's because he's broke, but he's got like he's maximum famous.
He's very famous.
Because I've been with him and he'll get
street
recognized.
Yeah, recognized in the street famous.
but somehow that can't be monetized directly.
Right.
Like he can't monetize.
He can't sustain it.
The consciousness of people. Like people know who he is, but he can't monetize that.
Never has it been more true, the 15 minutes of fame thing or whatever it is,
15 seconds or whatever. Literally the 15 seconds, I think, very specific.
Yeah, to TikToks.
Like, and it works the other way too, where I was reading about people who are 100 billionaires, like centi-billionaires.
Right.
They have 100 billion, and like they were like, you only recognize like 4 of these names.
Wow.
And the rest go to great lengths to remain anonymous.
Right.
And you only recognize like 3 of the names, like Bozo, Jeff Bezos, and all that. Like
so there's many
Bezos.
Bezos.
Huh?
There's many Bezos.
Just Jeff.
So to speak.
Oh yeah, there's heaps of Bezos. We just don't know who they are.
Money wise, I mean.
Yeah. They're just in more arcane industries where you can kind of, like luxury goods or stream pipes.
Like some guy who's now the CEO of Gucci that you don't know his name.
Yeah, and they like that. So you got this weird thing where you can be broke and known by everyone, or the richest person in the world and anonymous. Wow. Yeah. And I find that interesting.
It is interesting,
that polarity.
Yeah.
And because now I'm like, the number of things I hear about each day that are famous, it's really incredible. Like, man, have you heard of Cheesegasm? It's this podcast where these guys talk about different types of camembert. It gets 8 billion streams. Like, literally, there's 8 billion unique listens.
Wow.
And it's more than the population of the planet. So I'm like, this is the evidence aliens exist.
Because they're listening to the podcast.
They're just listening to our podcast.
That's the only way that the numbers are that good.
It's the only way that explains
You're talking about podcasts about cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's aliens listening to that.
Because I don't know anyone that knows it. Because that's the other thing. There can be a thing where someone tells you about that, but then you ask other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you heard of Cheesegasm? And they're like, no.
Okay.
No, like anyone you ask in the street doesn't know, but it's still the biggest thing.
Oh, man. There's a
That's
podcast
what I mean.
while we were down there in Melbourne selling out the Palais I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
Called The Normals or something.
Every day, yeah. A new version of that gets unlocked.
It's unbelievable. What about these guys, Sushi Mango?
Yeah.
They opened up a fucking restaurant in Melbourne. Like a high-level Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard of them, but I've never seen, I don't know what they look like or anything. But they sold out Rod Laver Arena, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's hyper-normalization.
What I'm saying is no one we know can sell out Rod Laver Arena, and they did it
through Sushi
YouTube.
Mango did?
Yeah.
That's
Rod Laver Arena. And the only other people doing that are Americans.
And it's a weird thing where...
From podcasts.
If you ask people in the street, they won't know what it is. But it's still selling out a football stadium.
Yeah, what the fuck? Do
you know what I'm saying? So there's these weird combinations. Like you've got the broke famous guy where everyone literally does know them in the street. But then you've also got people that are super famous, but then also no one I know knows them.
Yeah, the super famous the super rich that no one knows should employ the broke to solve the problem.
Well, get them together.
Yeah.
That'd be a good little thing.
It'd be a fucking good reality show.
That would be. I know which one's better.
Yeah, being anonymous and a billionaire.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I
wonder what they do. What's a day in the life of a centennial billionaire, whatever you called it?
I guess you'd get used to everything pretty quickly.
Hedonic adaptation?
I think because they've got hedonic adaptation, you just get used to everything, take it for granted. They should have dopamine receptor transplants. You know, the kidney transplants.
Right.
They should transplant fresh dopamine receptors.
Because they've been stimulated so much because they've had access to everything, seen everything.
Like yours and mine, they're like gnarled and they don't work it. They don't receive anymore.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be good to just get fresh, like brand new ones? Can you imagine that? Mm-hmm. You could like join a conga line tonight.
Yeah, and you'd be
like you just join a conga, you'd be like, "Fuck, man, this is good." Don't you reckon?
Yeah, because you'd be so excited because you're getting so much dopamine.
You could go to a live music gig and just be like, "Fuck, man, this
you think that's what's happening with people? Is that they're just so stimulated from virtual reality or fucking phones or porn or movies or podcasts and then like food and then like sex and then just
your
like
burger's literally called a cumbuster slut burger. And you're like, yeah.
Is it?
I wonder why I don't feel anything. You know, like,
yeah.
I wonder why I'm not feeling anything.
Yeah. and then you've got nothing left. That'll be the next thing. How to re-up your dopamine.
I reckon they'll do transplants. Like,
you reckon?
They'll just replicate fresh ones.
But what if you're just bored for a month? Like you don't do any of the stimulation. Does that bring them back?
I reckon it's like a resuscitation. It's like a defibrillator.
Right.
On the dying ones.
Mm.
Give them a bit more time.
It's so crazy that, like, I don't know, like 20 years ago, no one would have understood brain chemistry like that.
Mm.
But our generation literally understands the brain chemistry of mental health.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, to that level. Like, when did dopamine and serotonin become into the nomenclature of, you know, everyday talk?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, well, that was good for the dopamine, like brain chemicals.
Yeah.
Imagine going back to World War II era and going like, this is terrible for the dopamine.
It's like that thing you were saying about just the like jocks understanding like all the hormones that are in their bodies and stuff.
Yeah, right.
They're like deadlifting increases testosterone. Like they know the language now.
Yeah.
Whereas before they were just like, oh,
yeah,
into a vacuum.
Now, yeah.
They're like, oh, and then it went nowhere. But now they're like, this actually stimulates like adrenal receptors and stuff.
Yeah, therefore testosterone increased temporarily. Then for bed, other melatonin takes over. Yeah. So now they're like meatheads who understand brain chemistry.
Yeah.
So when they bash it, they can be like, this is good for stimulation and dopamine released.
This releases like this suppresses cortisol, me bashing you because it expresses rage, and they can also express what they're doing to your brain. Like concussion can be bad.
Yeah,
like over many times.
Bruising to the brain. Yeah, now that I'm punching you in the head, can affect you in the future. Brain health. Be careful.
Could have dementia in your 40s as I hit you with a barbell in the fucking head, cunt. Yeah, they explain.
Yeah, they love that.
I'm caving in the frontal cortex currently.
Yeah. The caudal lobe.
I'll dismantle your fucking hippocampus with a dumbbell, so you become one, you cunt. Yeah, I prefer it though because now it's like it's gentrified jocks.
It's true. Jocks are not. Well, okay, jocks. Is there a thing called jocks now?
No.
Like, do you hear people throwing that around? Like, oh, some fucking jocks.
No.
It's like they're not jocks anymore. They're nutritionalist.
Yeah, they're not jocks anymore. It's like that jock bullied me. It's like, no, that jock gave me a neurochemistry module. Like I understand more about the brain.
Yeah, he understands.
Because I went into a sauna with a jock.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you sit in a sauna with someone, you get a lecture on biochemistry.
I remember going to Fitness First in 2010 and you'd be like, that guy's going to fucking explode.
Yeah.
In like a roid rage. There'd be people like looking at you like, what the fuck?
Man, that's the thing. Everyone was into roids. And then they go out and do drugs at like nightclubs and drink heaps and fucking fight with their rage. That was a big thing. I remember going out at uni time. And you go, fucking hell, that dude's roided up. And you just see them just like looking for fights. But now they're into mega like naturalistic, like biochemistry, fasting, improving cognitive performance and all that. So they're in the lineup just like microdosing LSD, you know?
Yeah, they used to look like they'd be on a chain in a Mad Max film.
Yeah, one of those extras.
You know, like the warlord with the chain.
And
like
he's got those guys on, and he lets you loose and then you die quickly because the hero's like, does one thing and you die. He looked like one of those extras.
Yeah. But now those guys are like,
have
an Apple Watch that monitors their heart rate and an ice bath. So it's just good.
Yeah, it is actually good.
No, it is. I'm glad.
Jocks have been gentrified.
Yeah. I'm happy for that.
Yeah, you can buy them a soy latte now.
Yeah.
You know, with
they're on alternative milks.
Yeah.
Because they've looked into dairy and stuff.
Yeah. It's a different time.
They like if you ordered an almond latte in 2010, they would have like, you know, given you a wedgie or whatever.
Yeah.
Now they're like, no, in fairness, dairy is
that's correct. Yeah.
Worse. Because of how they treat the cows, factory farming and steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. Those abs can be bookmarks to wisdom.
But I saw a new Superman comic book and the premise of it was that Superman decides what to have for lunch.
What the fuck? Is that a joke?
No, it was seriously, this was a new comic book with Superman. And it was him deciding what to have lunch.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so emblematic of the kind of gentrification of jocks and stuff. And just mental illness and
the gradual weakening of
lowering testosterone levels.
Yeah.
When Superman's got choice paralysis at a sushi train,
Right.
he's got to pop an Ambien to
Yeah.
decide which sashimi to have.
It's not what you want from your heroes, is it?
No.
I think people are so obsessed with the superheroes now, they want to bring them down to our level.
Yeah.
You know?
Make them relatable.
Yeah. Let them have Lexapro.
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we better wrap up.
Oh, yep.
Superman on Lexapro is a great way to end, I think. Thanks so much for listening. And keep an eye out for our merch that's coming out, and we'll be in Edinburgh, and I'll be in Brisbane Comedy Festival, and can't think of what else. That's about it, I think. And God bless America. No, I don't know.
Civil
Thank
War.
you for listening. Civil War. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.